You're our second guest to bring a gift.
Yes.
Wait, that's amazing. What was the first gift?
We got some chocolate covered
Lovely.
pretzels.
And some sort of drink.
Yeah, plum drink. It was delicious.
Good. You know,
Yeah.
food
Amazing.
Food is always a way to bring people
Welcome.
together. Yeah. So Erewhon, let's start there. What is Erewhon?
So Erewhon is a high-end grocery store in Los Angeles.
Right.
It's kind of like a little Easter egg that I brought these because it foreshadows actually how we met. So we
Whoa.
met in line at an Erewhon. So I brought these just because it was a funny anecdotal Easter egg to kind of add into the mix. I was like, this is fitting. This is very on brand. And one of my niches on my social media is I do a lot of Erewhon smoothie dupes and Erewhon smoothie reviews.
Yeah.
So it felt very on brand.
Yeah, I'm glad because I was definitely going to bring that up as I've been, consuming your content thus far. And I'm like, I need to get in the smoothie game because clearly there's something I'm missing here.
Erewhon is actually nowhere spelled backwards.
Oh. Hopefully, if people are out there listening, they know my name by now. But I'm Tyler.
And I'm Gabriel.
If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
And I'm Harry.
Harry.
Nice meeting you.
I am Dylan.
Harry
Nice
and
meeting
Dylan.
you.
It's nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Before we get too far into things, let's talk about where you guys met and what that was like.
Yeah, so we actually met at Erewhon. It was just to kind of, instead of doing short story long story short, I was open to spirituality for a while, and I was experiencing a bunch of different life experiences where the universe was just kind of sending signs my way.
Sure.
So right before I met Harry, I put it on the universe that I wanted a guide and a sign. We met in line at an Erewhon. It was the day I decided I want to take my social media more seriously.
Sure.
I was recording a review. We naturally connected. I had just met 5 different healers like the month before in the course of like 4 weeks. So I was kind of like, okay, if there's something more, send me another sign and send me a guide.
Sure.
So we meet. He's handing me his business card. He hands me his phone. He asks me, naturally, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just making a video. So we connect on social media. And while he's handing me his business card, he gives me his phone and he's like, look up your social media page. I'd love to connect with you. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. This is great.
Yeah.
Looking for a community, spiritually focused community. And it naturally happened. So while I'm pulling up my Instagram page, it turned out that Harry was already following me on Instagram.
So cool.
For a couple of years.
For like 5 years.
5 years.
Did you recognize him?
No.
Right. We on social media.
No.
It happens.
We don't know how we...
Yeah.
No, I at that point I had like roughly 37,000 followers. So in the last 90 days, I've built my followers from 37,000 to over 100,000.
Wow.
Ooh.
So the timing of that was before I grew on social media or I had
Incredible.
any sort of substantial following or anything. It just was time and place, and
Well, you asked for a sign.
I got
And
my
you got the
sign
sign.
and I got my guide. So the
Cool.
sign was that he was already following me on Instagram, and then he can speak for himself, but
Sure.
he has he's very well seasoned in healing, and it just fell into place. It was like taking the path of least resistance, just being in flow state and literally letting everything fall into place.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So what is your experience in the healing space? I mean, and I guess you can kind of explain that however
Sure.
best fits into the question. But
I feel like I have a very unique job in the world.
True.
I lead people on internal journeys
wow.
to activate their best self and live a fulfilling life. And how I do that, I work mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and we can't forget psychically also.
Sure.
And I just look at stories that we tell ourselves, that we play on a loop, because we have a divine mind and we have an insane mind. It's known as the ego.
Sure.
We tell ourselves a lot of stories, and it's all about the stories that we tell ourselves,
Right.
And that insane mind gets a grip on us and it pulls us because it's insidious, it's cunning,
Yeah.
it's tireless, it has attack thoughts, it gains evidence,
Right.
and it's not here just to inconvenience us, it wants us to suffer.
Yeah.
But the good news is, if we're suffering or we get serious about life, then we know that our insane mind is engaged. So if we can breathe, and just take a deep breath, and get in our flow state, then we're connected.
Yep.
Because we're either connected or we're distracted.
Wow.
So then we look at belief systems that are in place. For instance, a woman came to me and she had a belief that she didn't know that she had, that if she didn't have a problem, she wasn't useful.
Wow.
So she created a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've been doing it for a long time. I was an actor.
Ah.
I got a job in a mini series that took me to Zagreb, Yugoslavia, which is now,
Wow.
it's now Croatia.
Yeah.
So I was there for 30 days, and I had a day off from filming. And I went to a city called Medjugorje. It's very famous in the spiritual world. And I had an epiphany there, and a voice spoke to me and said, "It's time for you to use your gifts."
Wow.
And I was like, well, I thought I was.
That's a sign.
Yeah, that's a sign. Gabriel, but it was that, it was that listening to that sign,
Right.
because sometimes we can hear that still small voice, but
Yeah.
our mind is so busy that we override it, So I heeded the call, that's all.
Wow.
And I came back and went to massage school, and then I got a job with a chiropractor right here, Beverly and Robertson. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I got a job with an Academy Award-winning director, and I worked with him
Wow.
once, and he wrote me in the budget of the film that he was doing. So, like Dylan, I asked for signs, and I kept getting them, and it kept being like confirmation. Okay, you're at the right place, right on time. So
Yeah.
just keep doing what you're doing. So I've traveled all over the world. I've studied with masters. I've been doing it for 36 years.
Wow.
So and I'm only 27.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, you're quite young. So how did you dive into spirituality in this sort of depth so soon?
I've always been a very spiritual person since I was a lot younger. My spiritual journey started when I was 16. I became a certified yoga teacher
Whoa.
in Los Angeles, actually.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I always kind of was...
You should see the picture of him at 16.
Yeah,
Really?
I can imagine. Do you look 12 or 8?
I
looks 12
I look 12
and a half.
I look 12 and a
for you.
half. It was a really awesome opportunity. We did it. So I created a nonprofit with one of my mentors, and we went to Boyle Heights in downtown Los Angeles and taught at-risk youth. So a handful of teens that were on probation, but in a continuary school to get their GED, basically.
Wow.
So they got high school PE credit in exchange for the yoga classes. So it was like a symbiotic relationship. But in terms of spirituality, I think my journey started before I even entered this planet.
Sure.
So I'm Puerto Rican, Indigenous American, so Native American on my father's side, and Puerto Rican on my mother's side. So in my lineage, specifically on my mother's side, I come from a background of a lot of healers. Specifically, my great-grandmother was a medicine woman.
Wow.
And then it kind of skipped a generation. So my grandmother has very strong intuition, but she's not really in the spiritual realm
Sure.
or the world. And then my mom, the craziest thing I found out this year, but my mom is actually a pagan witch.
Wow.
So it's been kind of in my lineage and around me without me fully embracing it
Sure.
up until recently. And then I kind of started to embrace it as much as I possibly can. I've used ChatGPT to accelerate my spiritual journey, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think ChatGPT is a great tool. It can accelerate your spiritual journey if you're ready.
Yeah.
For some people, if you're not ready, it can be too much too quick.
I wouldn't say that we're definitely not religious.
Yeah.
I would say we qualify more as the atheist sort of
Category, yeah.
or category, but it's always in flux. We're always kind of open to really listening to what our brain is trying to tell. It's kind of like what you mentioned, our ego and our actual self and how we can make sure we're in balance. I go through a lot of those talks with myself pretty much every night. I like to take some time and really address what's been bothering me through the day. And so usually around the late afternoon and evening, we'll have like our moment together and be like, all right, what's on the top of our brains?
Yeah.
Like, what is really fixating at us? And I'm more anxious out of the two of us. I'm more, how would you describe it? Tense?
Anxious, tense.
Tense.
Yeah.
And so
A-type personality.
Yeah.
yeah, I would say so. And so it's been really helpful for me. And also just in the last 6 months, learning a lot about where my physical pain has come from too. We bodybuild, we lift a lot of weights,
Yeah.
and we try to stretch.
Shocking.
We try to
Surprise.
stretch to to sort of counteract that. But there's sometimes I'm just so tense through what's happened throughout the day in my muscles, and then I go work out, and then it's like I just can't find relief. So
Right.
massage, relaxation
Yoga,
techniques,
flexibility,
yes,
stretching.
yoga, stretching, and even just meditation. Or I feel like when you grow up in a Christian household, meditation is almost like witchcraft or like something you have to stay away from. So even when I say
Yeah.
it out loud, sometimes my brain is like, no, No meditation. So for me, I just call it like time, like just give myself time, because it's right now a more subtle way for my brain to accept what I'm really doing is just meditating or whatever people want to call it. But yeah, it's been really cool to live in a place where these sort of atypical, you could say, or varying types of spirituality can be, you know, found, and you can kind of take the journey wherever you want to take it.
Yes.
Thinking of AI, I mean, it's interesting because we live in 2025, right? These things are a part of our lives, and they can be super beneficial. So how do you balance like the old school sort of importance of what, you know, spirituality is with all of these new technologies that, you know, sometimes ChatGPT hallucinates. Sometimes they say things that aren't quite right. And so how do you, and or maybe there are things that you've thought about in your journey as with mentoring someone who's younger and going through, like, you're Gen Z, right? Would you classify?
I sure am.
Yeah. I'm a millennial, so I'm a little older. But, you know, like what are some of the things that you've sort of seen in his journey that maybe are sort of different or that you haven't expected to come up?
Well, it's been great to witness and observe, you know, Dylan, because he moves through the world in a Gen Z way.
Right. Very much.
And it's great how he's learned to move through the world.
Sure.
It's very different, you know, than when I grew up or you grew up. And it's really, because we only have now,
right,
there's nothing else.
True.
Very true.
You know, we're living in a dream that never happened. Right. So, you know, just witnessing and observing and you know, we seem to like have a good, like you guys, you know, you have a flow with yourself and you know, when we live interdependent rather than codependent, you know, and just watching, because there's things that, you know, it's relationships are intense learning experiences.
Yes,
just,
absolutely.
You know, you guys are in a romantic relationship. We're in a partnership.
Spiritual.
Spiritual. You know, we get to learn. You know, we get to learn
from each other and different experiences.
Other.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of different experiences, did you grow up in LA?
I did grow up in Los Angeles, and I consider it home.
For sure. And where were you born?
I was born in Manhattan, New York, so I relocated from Manhattan, New York to Manhattan Beach, California.
Wow, what are the odds of that?
Manhattan to Manhattan.
Interesting.
The biggest city to the second biggest city, or something along those lines. Growing up in LA, were you aware of your queerness as well as your spirituality? Was that something that was at the forefront of sort of your experience, or how was that for you, especially coming from LA? For me, in Jacksonville, Florida, he's from a small town in Brazil. Being gay was not like not the tea.
Fair enough. Well, growing up in Los Angeles, I would say it is a very progressive place.
Sure.
There are other cities that are very progressive as well, surprisingly, like Austin, Texas,
sure.
or even, you know, certain areas that you wouldn't imagine. Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, it's a gay beach town in Delaware, which is in the South. There are these pockets of community. So me growing up in Los Angeles, the community was huge.
Right.
And being able to experience the contrast by traveling to different places and then just kind of seeing the size of the community, I realized that I am very grateful to have grown up in West Hollywood or having access to West Hollywood, because I really don't think there's anything like West Hollywood in the world.
I like when you say about the pockets in America, because I also grew up Christian, Catholic in Brazil, small town. Moved here when I was 20 years old, and I moved to Fort Lauderdale, South Florida. And it was not until we started traveling road trips that I got to see the real America, because at first, my first impression was that everywhere was liberal. There was gays everywhere because, you know, in Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, everyone is gay. It's okay to be gay.
Fort Manor,
Right, exactly. Yes. You know, there is gay bars, there is gay restaurants, there's gay people everywhere. This must be a dream, right? And then it was not until we started traveling and seeing what is the real country that I understood how lucky I was to move to a bubble like West Hollywood.
Totally. I couldn't agree more.
Do you feel like that you hid parts of yourself growing up?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I hid those parts of myself because I was trying to survive. I was trying to not show my feminine side to my parents, to my friends, and I was an actor. I tried to hide all this part of me that I was so scared to embrace it. And then it was not until I moved here that I came out to my friends and family.
Did you ever see yourself doing a podcast like this that was going to end up reaching so many people?
Not at all. Actually, at first, I was completely against it because English is my second language. I am not the most comfortable person talking on a microphone. I get super nervous and shy. And he was like, we have to do it. You can talk to me all night about all these topics. You will do so well talking to people. I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can even talk about my personal stories, my personal struggle in a different language that is not mine. But I made it through it.
Now that you've done it, how does it feel?
You're doing a good job.
Yeah,
Amazing.
you're doing an amazing job. It's so empowering.
All thanks to him.
Well, we all have the same fears, really, at the end of the day. We all don't want to look stupid. We all have insecurities about the way we talk or how we present. And we get made fun of them when we're gay since we're 5 or 6 years old. So it's a lot to put yourself in a situation, and I literally applaud anyone who makes content on a regular basis by putting yourself out there. So we started this sort of idea because I had done a podcast for another company that I worked for. I was very shy and nervous about it too, but they threw me into a studio. I hated the way that the lighting was hitting my face. I hated the cameras. I hated hearing my voice. But I thought, maybe there's something here. Like maybe something could come from this. I enjoyed the talking, the talking part with my guests. And so eventually it did, what it needed to do. And we were actually living in Austin at the time.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
We didn't super love Austin, but it's a great place. But it's just
Keep
didn't
Austin
fit us.
weird.
Yeah. I wish it maybe was getting a little less weird when we were there. But but anyways, the point was we decided
We were there at the wrong time of the
Place
year.
to the people.
we were there again at the wrong time of the year.
Yeah,
we
it was
like
winter
to be,
time, so
it's a little cold.
we don't like the winter, as
Right.
you know already.
But after that, I told him, I was like, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can sit in front of the camera, I know you're just as shy as I am, and I've heard you talk a million miles a minute. Like you don't need to think of your language barriers as a reason that you can't, because either way, we're our biggest critics. You're gonna either not try because you're being too harsh on yourself, or just throw yourself into the fire. And you're the editor. You get to decide at the end of the day if we post it.
Well, I have to say, Gabriel, you guys are doing a good job.
Thank you.
you.
We have a lot
Seriously,
of
you
fun.
flow so well.
Oh, we appreciate that.
Harmonize with each other. It's
And that was the other thing too. I appreciate that, because
Thank
that's
you.
what I kind of tried to encourage him too. I feel like me and him, we literally spend 3 to 4 hours sometimes a night talking just about nothing. So I'm like, we can literally
Not about nothing, about very important matters.
very important matters, right? Depending on
But we could be
who's-
more productive and talk to other people in a podcast setting, right?
Yes.
There we
and,
go.
and beyond that, like I mentioned when we first sat down, it's been a great way to make friends, because it can be kind of difficult. And you're in a new city now. We've lived in Miami before, where we sort of struggled to find, sort of strong relationships with the people around us. What has your experience been like in Miami thus far?
We go out every day and meet somebody new.
Yes.
It's been so easy.
It's been
hasn't
so
it?
Good.
easy. If you're open to
Good.
anything, it'll
That's
find
amazing.
you. It will
Yeah.
come to you. If you're closed off to something, if you've already agreed that the community isn't there, you've already turned it off. And
That is true. It's all about the mindset.
It's totally about the mindset. The more open that you are to something, the more it'll find you.
Yeah.
And manifestation can be a conscious form of
It is,
gaslighting.
yeah.
A conscious form of gaslighting.
It is.
In a positive
In a
way.
positive way.
Yeah.
In an amazing,
It's either
positive,
way, yeah.
productive,
Right.
all green flag way, but you are consciously
Exactly.
gaslighting yourself.
100%.
I feel like I've done that throughout my whole career and journey, and I think sometimes I do it so much I get a little bit of like an imposter syndrome, because I'm like, whoa, slow it down there. Do you ever experience that, especially in the spiritual realm? Like, who am I? Do I have the ability to do this? Like, because even as a physician, I mean, I work in telehealth, and so that also gives me a layer of separation from the typical occupation as a doctor. But there's often times where I'm like, whoa, who am I? Did this really happen? Because again, sometimes in the sort of focus of the day,
even in the
the day,
podcast, we watch ourselves. I'm
I'm
like,
like,
oh, did I
wow,
say
we have a
this?
podcast?
I mean, good.
like it's, sometimes I just feel like it's so good to be true.
Yeah.
And do those things ever come up to your mind? And how do you help?
You're paving a new path for yourself.
Right.
And
Very
we all
much.
want to be good. Those of us, most of us, we want to be good, and so you want to be at your best. You want to live your optimal life, and you're creating vertically this new path for yourself.
Right.
And if you're open and you're positive, the mind is only meant to be a servant to the heart.
For
If
sure.
we can stay positive, like you guys do, it's amazing what we're. everything we're ever going to be, we already are.
Right.
So if we can relax into that and breathe, it's amazing what comes out of it. You know, the platform and foundation we live out of. Then it's like, wow, I didn't know I could do this, but I'm doing it.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
You just have to do
It's
it,
exciting.
right? You just have to put effort and, you know, make
Just do
goals for yourself and just do it. I remember a year ago, we had no friends. We were living in Florida, which, you know, for us, it was great. You know, we had each other. We used to travel a lot, East Coast. We would do a lot of road trips. But now, like looking back, it's like we are living a completely different lives. Like you said, vertically. Because we achieve so many things and we keep achieving more things and making more friends and more connections. So like just watching us back like a year ago, we're like, wow, we were doing a podcast in our bedroom and now we're like getting to talk to people and making meaningful connections.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with the concept of being open to what you're looking for, right? So when we lived in Miami and even when we lived in Jacksonville, we have a tendency to default to
not doing anything.
We just like to stay home and like spend time together or do something
you found
silly.
Love in each other.
Yes.
Of course, you want to do nothing.
And we've sort of been, riding that sort of like honeymoon phase for a little too long.
Good.
Which has been good. It really
wrong.
has. But, you know, we were in Miami. I very much agree with what you said. I feel like we had this idea that we didn't fit in there. We didn't know where to meet people. And so that's sort of how we felt the whole time we were there.
We were there in the pandemic too, so it was really hard to do anything. We felt confined to our place, and it was just not the right time.
But we love it
would
there.
you come back?
Absolutely,
Again, come visit us?
Anytime. We love the heat. We love the beach. We love Miami.
Miami,
Have you guys been to Key West yet?
I've been to Key West.
I have not.
Wait.
Oh, wow.
Really?
No, you guys are like the fourth people to tell me that I have to check it out. What's
check it out.
Okay.
So we are literally the ambassadors of Key West.
Actually?
Yes.
We tell ourselves.
Our master plan is to be mayors of.
Yeah, that's one day we're
Mayors
gonna
of
be
Key
Amazing.
co-mayors.
Love it.
Well, it's very gay.
It's
very gay.
Okay.
Yeah, and beautiful.
Very tropical.
Very tropical.
How I'll describe it is you can like hang orchids from the trees and they'll just bloom. Like I mean, it's just this paradise. And what we do is we usually get there, park our car, grab some bikes, and we bike the whole time.
Yeah, we'll never drive.
Did you do the celebration of the sun?
No.
Yeah, you go on the beach just as the sun goes down. But,
That's cool. Never done that.
Is there a specific place that you would do it, or?
Oh yeah, they have a specific
Nice.
place
We'll
on the
look
beach
into
that you
it.
go and you just they celebrate the sunset. You know, and
Wow.
it's like,
Amazing. It's beautiful, the sunset there.
It's definitely that vibe, and it's kind of has the Caribbean influence. You feel like you're not quite still in the continental U.S. It's
The food is great.
Ernest Hemingway lived there.
Yes, there's the house you can visit. There's 10 cats living there.
Yeah.
And there's also a secondary White House that was built by, I believe, Truman. There's a lot of political history.
Well, he was
there.
a little gay, wasn't he?
Was, well, I mean, come on.
Really.
Who is it?
I talked to my straight friend about this today. I said, listen, we're all a little bit gay.
We're all a little
Yeah.
gay. It just depends on how comfortable you are with exploring that area.
Listen,
of
love
who
is
you
love.
are.
It doesn't matter who we love. What matters is that we love. If people really open up and let themselves, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, growing up, it didn't feel that way. And so now also living in LA, we're constantly reminding ourselves and really healing that younger version of ourselves.
Yes.
That went through such sort of turmoil. Especially, I grew up in a Christian conservative family. I went to a Christian middle school and high school. And so constantly told.
Fire, hell, and damnation.
Yeah. And I gave it right back to him. So I was a bit of a bad kid, but rightfully
I'm sure
so.
you were perfect.
I definitely had fun.
Good. That's all.
You know, at the end of the
life
day,
isn't fun. It isn't life.
we were talking the other day.
Agreed.
How I would make myself feel better if I had done something wrong, that, you know, maybe rebelling out or you know, sneaking out to hang out with my friends. I'd be, well, at least I still have straight A's. So I would tell myself, you have it together.
Yeah.
You know, so at least you have that area.
Your focus is still there.
And that's the thing too in life. We cannot have regrets, because if it wasn't for what you've done in life, you wouldn't be right here where you are. You know, even the things that you think were mistakes, they, you know, you learn a lesson at least, you know.
Sure.
What if we lived our life, Gabriel, that there are no mistakes?
Yeah, exactly.
There's choices.
Exactly.
If we have no judgment about it, you know,
Right.
okay, we try something. If it doesn't work, re-choose
Yeah.
without internal negative
Yeah.
self-talk.
For sure.
Yeah.
How was growing up for you?
Yeah. Are you from LA?
Ooh, well, Gabriel, I am from New Mexico.
Wow.
So I grew up
Interesting.
on a
We've been there.
ranch Yes?
Yeah.
You've been there?
Mhm, Albuquerque.
Okay.
We loved it.
You got to go to Santa Fe.
Okay.
Never been to Santa Fe.
Okay. Well, we'll take you.
That would be
We'll take you.
amazing.
We'll invite you.
For
Take
sure.
you
Very
at some
spiritual
point.
place for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, very spiritual.
Mhm.
I mean, it's where the aliens landed.
It is.
So I grew up on a ranch in the middle of nowhere
Wow.
between Santa Fe and Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Wow.
My parents had 5 children.
Wow.
They went 10 years and had me. So my mother always said, honey, you were an accident. I said, Mom, I was a surprise. There's a difference. But I grew up like an only child and
Sure.
out on a ranch. And, you know, then when I was in the city or near a city, you know, I mean, 2 hairy-legged boys liking each other
Right.
is very taboo. It's like, you've seen Brokeback Mountain?
Absolutely.
Many times.
Okay, good. So, you know, well, they did a study that says that only people that have homosexual tendencies are homophobic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would definitely
Yeah.
agree with that.
So, you know, if you revealed, you know, you were afraid, like I'm sure,
Exactly.
you know, we've all been, you revealed your gayness, and, you know, they'll take a tire tool like in Brokeback Mountain and they'll beat you to death because they are self-loathing that part
Exactly.
of them
Because they cannot express themselves, right? And why would you hate gays? Why would you hate homosexuality?
anything. Why would you hate anything?
Right. Because
Because
You
you're
know,
against
especially,
it.
yeah.
Well, because it inflames something in you that you can't do.
Yeah.
That's why people, in my opinion, hate
Yeah.
or it's
just they
something
don't
that's
understand.
reflecting.
They don't
They don't
understand.
understand.
Yeah. Or they're seeing a piece of themselves that they don't understand or don't want
They
to
wanna push it
understand
away.
in other
Or that they're
people.
afraid of. It's like love or
Right.
fear, everything.
Mhm,
For sure.
Yeah.
I hid lots of parts of myself. That's why I asked you the question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hid parts of myself so deep, it's taken me years to just uncover
Yeah.
them and be comfortable.
Right.
I mean, we all have our own stories,
Yeah.
but we hide things, especially being gay. You know,
Yeah.
it's like we hide.
Because when we're kids too, we express ourselves without thinking that it's wrong, that we shouldn't be like that.
Right.
And then when we hit teenager years, we start like hiding those parts. And then some people, they never find those parts ever. You have to
Yes.
go back and
Yes.
like understand and analyze yourself to you know, bring back your own self.
Yeah.
They call it doing the work, right?
Yeah.
Doing the self work. But
Byron Katie.
right. Yeah.
Byron
Yeah.
Katie's work.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I think most people, even myself, you know, until recently, get hung up on what is the step-by-step process to do so. And I think everyone has their own step-by-step process, and you have to kind of find what works
We're all so
for
unique.
you. Right.
Yes.
We're all so unique.
Exactly.
You
You
know?
know, for me, it's the end of the day, thinking about how the day went, talking with my partner, and things come up. Things come up from 5th grade.
Yeah.
Things come up from when I was 12. Things come up from when I was 17. Things
They're
come up
so
when we first started
they're
dating.
buried deep down into
Right.
our
It's
It's called
memories.
dissociative amnesia.
Wow.
So if we have an experience in life that it's hard for us to deal with, we can store it in a part of our
Wow.
brain, because the work that I do really, sometimes it'll really uncover that, like it'll bring it to the forefront.
Right.
And then people go, wow, was that real? Did I really
Right.
experience that?
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Or did I dream it up?
Right.
You know, and they get to be present to, okay, the real, you know,
Right.
thing, whatever happened.
Yeah,
in
and
that
even,
moment.
you know, sometimes we have those questions, and maybe there's not someone to help us understand, was that real or was it just in my head? But both can be real. If it's in your head, there's a thought there.
Right.
Well, whatever
Something
you believe to be the truth,
Right.
Tyler,
Yes.
it's the truth
Right.
for you.
There's still work to be done.
Yes.
Whatever
Yeah.
comes to your brain, there's something it's trying to tell you. And
Yeah.
so sometimes we get caught up in like, oh, I don't even remember that, or that's not something that affects me. Well, it came up. It
Yeah.
came up in this moment, and
Yeah.
every moment matters. So
Yeah.
maybe there's something to put work in there.
Well, so it's like to what you said earlier. It's like if you ever have this imposter syndrome, sometimes we're channeling. Sometimes it is the same person, but it's like literally speaking from your heart.
Yes.
So you have these beautiful speeches, like what you
Yeah.
were saying earlier. It's like, wait, did I even say that?
Yeah.
But it's because you're coming from a place of such authenticity
Yeah.
that you almost feel like there's a separation.
Right.
But it's all the same.
Yeah.
You're actually probably more connected to the heart when
True.
you're like on this pedestal giving a little TED talk talk and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, wait a minute, I just did that, and I really agree with what I just said. Good job. Like, literally.
Cheer yourself on.
Well, I feel like we're going to have a part 2 to this because
Great.
this was so fast.
Yes.
We are so glad that we got you guys to join us. What an incredible
Thank you.
time too,
Yes.
and
Thank
to
you.
see what happens in this relationship that you guys have already built and where it's going to go. So please come back and see us.
Thank you.
Yes.
But in the meantime, we're going to go to Erewhon.
We're going to have to personally take you this week to
Yes,
Erewhon.
we would
Yes.
love
We're going to
that.
have
let's
an
do
Erewhon.
it.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I want to take you there, Dylan and I.
Yeah.
Let's make
Your
it
first
happen.
time to go to Erewhon.
Okay,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
guys be in line, and I meet you there.
Exactly.
Oh, we have clout.
Yes, yes, I can see
Go
that.
to Miami.
And we're also going to Miami,
Yes.
and we'll take you guys
Yes.
to Key West.
Yes.
This-
And
this
New
is how it
Mexico,
is.
don't forget.
Yes.
New Mexico.
Let's make it happen,
Yes.
guys. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much
coming.
for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Thank
See
you.
Thank you.
next time.
Okay.